Hello everyone, I am Prerna Garg, Assistant Professor, Jaipuria Institute of Management, Ghaziabad, and today I welcome you all to my lecture on media planning. So we have already discussed the concept of media planning in the previous lectures, and I am pretty sure that most of you are now clear with the concept of what a media plan is. In the previous lectures, we have already discussed the concept of media planning, the difference between media plan and media strategy, and we have also discussed many key terms that are associated with this concept of media planning. So today, in today's lectures, we will be covering one of the most important question that is usually covered in the examination point of view, as well as is very commonly asked from any MBA graduate in the interviews also. As a media planner, what would be the steps that you would usually look forward to while designing an advertising campaign or a media campaign? In the previous lectures, we have identified that there are different media options available with the media planner. That means ranging from the broadcasting medium to the print medium, I as a media planner is having different options. I have newspapers, I have magazines, I have radio, I have television, I have outdoor advertising and what not. So it becomes very confusing for a media planner to opt out which media tool is the best, which media vehicle is the best, and which he or she must go to in order to optimize the resources and derive the best benefit out of it. So in today's lecture, we will be discussing at length what are the different steps involved in media planning. Though there is no fixed convention for any marketeer to rigidly follow these steps, but yes, these steps will definitely help any media planner to carefully proceed with the media planning and to avoid any difficulty on the way of media planning. So the process looks like this. There are 4 major steps involved in the media planning process. First is the market analysis. Second step talks about establishing the media objectives. Third goes about with development of media strategy and its final implementation, while the fourth, as usual, discussing about the evaluation and the follow-up part of any process. So let us discuss one by one each of these steps. Now the first step that you all can see here is market analysis. So let me explain that market analysis may look a very simple term in this slide, but it is actually not so simple. Market analysis is something that is really required to be done extensively by any media planner, because any wrong move in the market or without entering the market without understanding the dynamics of the market can lead to serious fatal results. Somebody who have really invested in research and development and then came up with a product, branded that particular product, and now planning to enter the market can definitely not afford to enter into the market without a proper analysis. So market analysis essentially covers 3 important dimensions. It will talk about that media planner needs to understand 3 dimensions of market analysis. First, to whom am I actually targeting my message to? That is the target audience. Second, what are the different internal and external factors that may affect my media plan or my communication of the message? And third, what would be the geographical area that would be the most suitable for me in order to generate profits out of it? Now we will discuss each of these one by one. So let us talk about the first question that arised in the market analysis part. So whenever a marketeer or media planner is thinking about market analysis, the first thing he or she is asking is, to whom shall we advertise? That means this is very critical, because we are talking here about the target audience. So who are our target audience? Not every marketer can go for mass advertising, and not every advertiser would look forward to a niche advertising. Therefore, there can be different segments in the market that a marketer may intend to capture. But then again the question arises, how do I as a media planner understand that yes, X segment in the market is more profitable, Y segment is less profitable, or Z is least profitable? This can be done through research also. So marketers are actually conducting they are actually using primary and secondary information for understanding the dynamics of the market, and that is very obvious. So there is sufficient information available to marketers from different agencies, like Simon's Market Research Bureau is one of them. So, they will provide you the secondary information, but that information will be like the demographics in that particular, the demographics on the basis of age, on the basis of gender, the income groups that are available in the market. But then this is a raw information. Marketers feel, or media planners feel, that that they have to integrate this raw information with certain indexes, so that they can derive out a meaningful interpretation from this. Therefore, what they do is they take this raw information that is available in the form of secondary data in the market through some agency, and then they will use their vices to convert this into a meaningful interpretation. So, what they have done is they have identified one index that will give a better picture that yes, if you are having n number of segments in the market, just calculate the index, that is the buying power index. Just calculate that BPI for each of those segments, and the higher is the BPI, the more profitable that segment is for you, or that segment is having more potential. Therefore, let us understand what this BPI is. Now, the formula for BPI says BPI is the percentage of users in a demographic segment divided by percentage of population in that particular segment. So, I have taken an example here. Let us understand it from the perspective of somebody who is trying to analyze from a cellular mobile phone marketer, who is trying to understand which segment out of this is having more potential for mobile phones. So, on the basis of the secondary information that was available in the market, the media planners have identified these 4 segments falling in the age group of 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, and then 45 onwards. Now, the numerator says the percentage of users in a demographic segment. So, they have calculated the percentage of users. This segment have 18% people who are the users, then 25, then 21, and then 36. Now, the denominator says the percentage of population in that particular segment, and this comes out to be this. Now, the buying power index is calculated by this formula, and the figures comes out like this: 119, 100, 102 and 91. Now, how do I interpret this? The question is, how do we interpret this as a media planner? So, this index says the higher is the index, the better is that particular segment, or the more is the potential that is being concentrated in that particular segment. So, if we see into this example, the cellular brand media planner would probably identify 18 to 24 as one of the most prime segment where they must go with their media campaign. But is it actually so? The question here is, what does an index of 100, greater than 100 or less than 100 mean? So, I have already told you, if the index of greater than 100 is by default denoting that that particular segment is having more potential in comparison to an index that is equivalent to 100 or less than 100. But then, is 119 the right figure to communicate me, or is it the only figure, only index that can communicate the exact picture of the potential of a segment? The answer is no. There can be another factors also. Why have I said that? Because if we look at this example, then this segment is definitely having a higher index, but if we look at this, the population in this segment was already very low in comparison to this. So, if a marketer will only consider the index, that is the buying power index of 119, and think that this segment is most profitable or this is having most potential, then they might have ignored this huge percentage that was lying here. Therefore, BPI helps the marketers in understanding the potential of a particular segment, but we cannot say that this is the only criteria of deciding whom shall we advertise or which segment in the market is absolutely suitable for me. Therefore, they have to combine many other measures along with the BPI in order to be more sure. The second thing that is covered in market analysis is internal and external factors. As we all know, every process in the market, or every activity of the marketeer, or every activity of an organization are always influenced by certain internal and certain external factors. Same goes with these media planner also. Media planners, while deciding a media campaign, cannot remain untouched with the internal and external factors. There are three most important or prominent internal factors and three prominent external factors that affect the media planning process. The first is size of the media budget. First internal factor, not every organization will have same amount of budget to be spent on advertising. A newcomer in the market or a new entrant in the market may be having a confined resources, therefore they may not be in a position to spend hefty amounts on advertising, whereas a marketeer who is there in the market for decades and decades and on a good position may be willing to spend huge amount of money on any sort of advertising campaign. Therefore, because every marketer is having a different amount of media budget, this is one of the internal factor that may influence how they want, how the company or the marketer wants to communicate their message to the target audience. The larger is your budget, probably you as a media planner will be able to diversify that funds in most of the mediums available options and communicate the message in a more promising way. Second internal factors is the managerial and administrative capabilities, and the third is organization of the agency. Now, these two also talks about that every organization is again different. The management and administrative capabilities of organizations vary. The organization or the agency that they have hired in order to plan their advertising campaign is also very different. Therefore, internal factors are completely focusing on the resources, capabilities and strengths and weakness of the organization, of the brand who are trying to design and communicate a message to their target audience. Therefore, internal factors play a very critical role in deciding the media planning process. Coming to the external factors, apart from the internal factors, there are factors in the environment that are probably beyond the control of the organization, but yes, they have to tackle them. They cannot ignore them, they cannot sideline them. Therefore, three important factors comes out to be economic, technological and competitors. We all know that. Economic factors are factors like rising cost of media. We all can see the pace at which the inflation is going in the economy, the pace at which the media cost is surging over the decades. Therefore, economic factors play a very critical role in the capability of any organization to afford a media vehicle or any media option. So, my media plan is not completely, it is somehow based on the economic factors of the economy also. Second, technological change. We have been witnessing tremendous technological changes these days. Gone are the times when people used to be very satisfied with the advertisements that they came across from television, from radio or from newspapers or magazines or even leaflets. We are living in a digital era, and therefore, technology is on the go with us. We are having 24/7 technology accessibility to us in any part of this world. Therefore, the marketers have understood that they have to combine the use of conventional modes of communicating the message, the conventional modes of advertising with the contemporary modes. If they fail to do so, probably they would leave a huge amount of population who is not much bothered about the traditional modes of advertising. Therefore, technology is playing a tremendous role in today's time, and media planners have to keep up a pace with it. The third factor is competitors. One of the most important factors that probably is there with the marketer since the time they enter the market until the time they quit from the market. So, competitors decide almost most of the strategies that the media planners take into account. We have already discussed in the previous lectures also that competitors do impose time pressures also. That means, if my competitor has suddenly slashed the fare of their airlines, then I would also think about coming up with similar kind of strategy so that I do not miss out on a particular segment in the market, or the customers do not feel that I am not doing anything for them. So this creates a time pressure also. Therefore, while designing a media plan, my competitors' move definitely affect my media planning. Sometimes I do not have enough time to plan a move, or sometimes I am planning something else. My competitors have suddenly done something very unexpected, and I have to reformulate my media plan, and I have to think about everything from the scratch. So these were the certain factors that are there in the market and within the organization that affect the market analysis as the first step of media planning process. Now, the third part of the first step only. So, we are still discussing the first step of the media plan, that is analyzing the market or analyzing the target audience. So, I am focusing on identification of the target audience. To whom shall I advertise? Okay. Now, the third part says I have to look to whom shall I advertise, internal external factors, and the third one, the geographical area where I should advertise, another important thing. For marketers, there can be n number of geographical locations in which they want to advertise their product, but the question is every geographical area has the same potential of using your resources there and bringing out the better outcome from it? I guess the answer is no, because let's again take an example. Let's think about smartwatches. Somebody who was into the market of smartwatches, so a brand of smartwatches would probably is probably launching smartwatches in every geographical area of India, but they have found that North India, most of the sales of the smartwatches is being created from North India in comparison to Southern India, East India or West India. Now, the question with the marketer is, when you are planning your media strategy, would you invest equal amounts of media funds in all the 4 zones, or probably you will think more about North India because it is having more potential? The answer is yes, of course. They will not spend equal amount in all the zones and will primarily focus on North India because it was definitely having more potential. Therefore, this says where to promote is the geographical consideration, and there are certain indexes to determine where to promote. So, marketers have come out with an index that is called the brand development index, and the second one would be category development index. I will explain both of them first. Marketers now want to understand that when they have decided about where means geographical area which is having more potential in comparison to other geographical areas. Now, the question is how to identify that potential. Just saying that X geographical area is having more sales, is probably having more potential, may be incomplete, may sound incomplete. Therefore, marketers have come up with 2 indexes, BDI and CDI. These are the abbreviated forms of these, brand development index and category development. Before I go to the formula of this, let us understand what is BDI and what is CDI first. Brand development index in itself is denoting something that is related to the brand. So, when I say brand development index, it is talking about the sales, percentage of sales of that particular brand in a particular geographical area with respect to other brands. Whereas, when I talk about category development index, it deals into the percentage of sales of the product category in a particular geographical area rather than the specific brand. So, let us again understand it with the help of an example. When I talk about Baleno as a car, as a hatchback, and I am trying to calculate BDI, that is the brand development index, I would focus on identifying the percentage of sales of that particular brand, that is Baleno, in a geographical area. Whereas, when I talk about CDI, I would probably go for the product category, that is I would look after the percentage of sales of the hatchback cars in a particular geographical area. So, I hope I am clear with this concept. So, BDI is talking specifically about the percentage of sales of a brand, specific brand in a geographical area to the total sales, of course, we will come to that. And CDI is talking about not just the specific brand, but the entire product category like hatchback cars the percentage of sales of those hatchback cars in a particular geographical area. Now, why these two classifications? Anybody may ask. So, these two classifications are because marketers want to understand and devise strategies. They want to understand that there can be cases wherein the sales of the brand is more, while the product category is not doing very well. Another scenario can be the brand sales is very low while the product category is doing really well, or vice versa. Another combination can be brand is also doing well, category is also doing well, and the fourth combination can be both of them are doing really not well. So, marketers want to understand what are the combinations out of these two classifications. Therefore, the media planner wants to focus on both of them. They want to understand the percentage of sales of the specific brand for which they are trying to design a media plan and advertising campaign to be put into the market, as well as they also want to understand the percentage of sales of the entire product category in that particular geographical area. So, when I say this, let us move on to understand in detail how BDI is actually calculated. Let us have a look. Brand Development Index as defined quantifies how well a brand is performing within a specific group of customers. Important words, within a specific group of customers, that is within a specific geographical area, compared with its average performance among all the consumers. To be specific, let us look at the formula of BDI. BDI says percentage of brand to total sales in that particular market. So, if I am trying to understand the sales of Baleno as a brand of hatchback cars, I am trying to calculate the percentage of sales of that particular car, that is Baleno, in a particular area, let us say North India, to the percentage of total population of North India into 100, and I would get a figure that is BDI. While if I talk about CDI, as I have just discussed, it measures the sales performance of a category of goods or services and not the exact brand, and then compares it with the average performance among all the consumers. So, the formula has changed here. It is talking about, BDI was talking about percentage of brand total sales in North India, Baleno's total sale in North India, while it is talking about percentage of product category total sales, percentage of hatchback cars total sale in North India divided by percentage of total population of North India into 100. So, I hope we are clear with the difference between BDI and CDI, wherein BDI is focusing on estimating the sales of a specific brand, whereas CDI is focusing on estimating the sales of an entire product category. Now, as the media planners are in a position to understand both of them, they move on to this final combination. This is what they were actually trying to understand. As I have just told, marketers want to understand the combination of brand performance or brand sales and the product category sales. Therefore, they came up with these four combinations. As you all can see, they are talking about, after calculating BDI and CDI, there can be four combinations. We can have a high BDI, we can have a low BDI, we can have a high CDI, that is category development index, or we can have a low category development index. Now, let us see the four quadrants that they are talking about. The first quadrant says a brand, when the BDI is also high, that means the sales of that particular brand in that particular geographical area is high, and the category percentage of that category sales is also high. Again, going to the same example, Baleno sales is also great and the hatchback cars are also doing great. This is the first quadrant. They have high market share, the market is having good potential, everything is good. If we go to the opposite, exact opposite of this, we can see low BDI and low CDI. That means Baleno is also not doing good and the hatchback cars are also not doing good. That means low market share and poor market potential. Marketers have seen both the extremes in this case. Coming to the remaining two combinations, this says the brand is not doing good because the BDI is low. That means Baleno as a brand is not doing very good, but the CDI is high. That means the category of hatchback cars is doing really good. This is a question mark on the brand's performance. Low market share but good market potential. That means marketers must understand when the category is doing good, why is your brand not performing? And the last quadrant talks about that the category is having low potential. That means hatchback cars are not in much demand, but still Baleno is doing really well. Its sales in that particular geographical area is really good. That means you as a brand is doing something that you are enjoying a good market share, and you just have to keep into view that your sales do not decline because the category is not doing good. On this basis, the marketers came up with these 4 final strategies wherein they have understood that they have to devise something which is to be centered towards these 4 quadrants. Now, they say when the combination is high, that is high CDI, high BDI, everything is good. The market usually represents good sales potential for both the product category and the brand. Now, what should a media planner do with this quadrant? Should they go for advertising in this quadrant? Of course, yes, because the brand is also doing good, the category is also doing good. So, this is a good market to capture for advertisements. Let us go to the another extreme. Both are low, that means the BDI is also low, the CDI is also low. When both are low, the marketer have to carefully understand that the product category is also performing bad and your brand is also performing bad. So, this quadrant is not suggested much for advertising because the entire product category is also suffering. So, major expenditure into advertisements will not be recommended here. Let us see about this low BDI and high CDI. Your brand is not doing good, but the category is doing really well. If this is the case that the brand is not doing well, the reason should be determined. The marketers should understand what is the reason that the category is doing well, but my brand is not performing in it. Therefore, substantial amount of advertising and repositioning of that particular brand will definitely help in this quadrant, but over expenditure should again be curbed. Last quadrant, this is another interesting quadrant wherein the combination is that the category is suffering, but the brand is performing really good. If this is the case, then marketer have to actually advertise in it. So, this states about that the market is actually not, the category is actually not doing good, but because your brand is doing good, you can always go for substantial amount of advertising in this so that your sales do not droop. The chances of declining sales are comparatively higher in this zone because the category is already performing poor. The sales for the category is low, but because your brand is having certain brand equity, they are enjoying that brand image, therefore, you have to advertise, you have to come up with creative advertising so that your sales do not decline. So, all the 4 quadrants have helped, or rather we can say that these 2 indices have actually helped the marketers in understanding that it is not an easy task to estimate whether the market is which geographical area is having good potential, which is not having good potential. It is not just a child's play. As a media planner, we should consider the brand development index and the category development index so that we can understand the geographical area's overall potential for the entire category as well as the brand. So, in this lecture, we have discussed in the first step of the media planning in detail. So, media planning process first step was the market analysis, wherein we have discussed whom to target, that is the target audience. We have talked about the internal and external factors that may affect the media plan, and third, we have discussed at length what would be the geographical area and how to calculate the potential in a geographical area by a media planner on the basis of the brand development index and the category development index. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Have a great day.